Tonight, hesitancy in America's heartland.
So it's pretty scary when you think about it. What does 30, 40, 50 years look like from now?
Marshall County farmer Mike Vandemark calling it the largest land grab the country has seen in 200 years.
Between the foreign countries buying lands, corporations, and now solar, land is disappearing at an alarming rate.
Solar specifically has been keeping his mother Debbie Vandemark busy since first being approached by a solar company in 2019.
I was at work, my husband was at home, and I came home and he says, "What do you think about this?" I said, "No."
A staunch no, despite an offer some would call lucrative, $850 an acre every year for 25 years with an automatic renewal of 25.
When you sign that lease, you're signing away easements, you're signing the rights of everything away.
So all of this has a lease recorded in the recorder's office.
She shows me on a map the land around the 157-acre farm she and her husband bought in 1989 just outside of Burr Oak. The blue areas represent landowners in Marshall County who have signed leases for a proposed large-scale solar project.
This is the substation.
Their land is desirable, given its proximity to a nearby power substation. But she's not budging, despite being approached by 5 different solar companies so far.
You know, one of the main things that I have a problem with is the reduction of ag land. And I've always said in the very beginning, we need to preserve our ag land.
Conserving farmland is a mission Debbie also shares with the American Farmland Trust. In its latest report, the Washington, D.C.-based nonprofit founded in 1980 says if current trends continue, another 18.4 million acres will be converted to non-farming uses through 2040, nearly the same amount lost from years 2001 to 2016. Projected future losses in Michigan and Indiana contributing to the data.
You know, what we're seeing by 2040, Indiana could lose about 450,000 more acres during that time period. And that represents about 3% of Indiana farmland, and about 480,000+ acres of Michigan farmland would be converted.
The report lists poorly planned residential and commercial development, renewable energy projects, and socioeconomic changes like aging landlords looking to sell as factors consuming prime farmland. AFT's Midwest Director Christopher Reynolds says some future effects would be a pinched food supply, fewer local farms, and a loss of 250,000 agricultural jobs.
What we have done through our Farms Under Threat study is identify, progress made in every state and looked at what policy changes could be implemented to improve farmland protection efforts.
Changes like developing smarter land use planning, incentivizing keeping land in agricultural use, and implementing smarter solar practices with incentives to build on previously disturbed land. Dr. Todd Keithy, an associate professor in farmland economics at Purdue University, says he's not concerned about the future food supply, and as much land as we've lost in the U.S., we've made up for it in yields, or the amount of crop harvested per acre. The bulk of his department's research nowadays focusing on how solar farms specifically affect land prices.
As we increase scarcity, there becomes a premium, and you have to bid against other uses of the land, right? So if you want to keep it in agricultural production, you have to, forego those gains you would get from some other use.
Researchers at Purdue are also working to develop solar structures that would allow farm machinery to pass underneath. And just last month, in what's being touted as a historic move, solar developers and land conservationists signing an agreement to try to resolve conflicts over major U.S. solar projects still in development. Even still, communities and their local governments continue to navigate a quite literally changing landscape. Fulton County, for example, imposing this past summer a 1-year moratorium on large-scale solar projects, and even Marshall County's own comprehensive plan, last amended in 2013, touts the preservation of agricultural areas is important to maintaining the economy and quality of life. Back at Debbie's farm, she tells me she'd like to see Marshall County's zoning ordinance updated and for the setbacks to be reviewed.
There's a lot of things we're seeing in other counties that's going on, and we want to make sure that we get it right in Marshall County.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to the WSBT 22 YouTube channel.